It's Friday the 14th in the garden today. What I'm doing is actually pulling out the original chamomile plants. So that was the core of the chamomile plant. And what it did, it just spread out, and then the roots have gone down from the other plants. So I'm just clearing these out, and obviously it leaves us with big holes. So I'm filling these in with this composted bark and stuff. So it's a bit of a patch. You can see it's a bit like doing a regular grass lawn. Fork it over, put some aeration in, because you can see if I just leave it, it cracks. Oh, there's slugs, lots of slugs, but there's also worms. They must think it's raining today. Slugs can go. So that's the job for today, is kind of making a patchwork of chamomile and better soil for it. And then you can see everything else is growing up now. The maple has started to leaf. A bit droopy at the moment. It's quite red. You can see this is a reaction to the sunlight. It gets more sun over here. When it was stored in the side garden, it was a beautiful lush green. But we've got all the colours here. We've got yellows and reds and different shades of green, and then this little maple here, which is living up to its name of Orange Dream. Picked that up for £2, so that's a bargain. Everything else is doing pretty well. This one I really like. This is phlox, but this is candy stripe it's called. And you can see in there, it's a little, it's like a paintbrush of colour. But I'm not too happy with that here, so I'm going to move that to the mound and let the others grow up around it. So just a bit of housekeeping today, but sometimes that's all you need to do. Just going to take a break from that patchwork quilt of chamomile and soil. Just come up on the deck and see some of the fruit we've got going. Strawberries, eventually, strawberries in pots, and then our apple. This is Red Windsor, which is the same as Monty's got. He's planted his. We're on an extreme dwarf fruiting stock. His is on just a dwarf fruiting stock, and it's chocker with blossom. So this is doing fantastic. The cherry as well. It's a dwarf fruiting stock, but it's coming out. It's quite white, and then we've got a pear at the end, a conference pear, waiting for that one to come out. I'm really excited. I think this is the bit that I'm quite excited about, just to see if we can get some fruit this year. What else? We've got peonies and irises coming up in the pots. We have one dead plant. We have a bit of a funeral for this one coming up. This is the climber. So Monty advised us that we could have a whole green fence back here, backdrop, and we got clematis and akebia, the chocolate vine, which is prolific. It's a very fast grower, which is why I got it. I didn't particularly want the purple one. There's a white chocolate one, but that's really hard to find. So this just sprouts away, but this one, this is added. So this one's got to come out. I'm going to replace that. We've got Japanese anemones, which have done fantastically well. The central clump I bought in a pot, and the rest I've grown from seed, so that's very rewarding. Hakone cloa forms a collar around the cherry tree. You can see there's a bit missing, and that's because it was very wet, and even though it's got gravel dug into it, it died back. And they're also kind of weaker plants, so I'm going to take this one out and this one out, see if we can add yet more drainage. You can see we've got things that like the wet, and see if we can improve the situation for that. And then a nice collar of Hakone cloa around here. That's it for now. I'm going to sit on the deck with my peppermint tea because I've got a headache. Sorry. So I'm not firing on all cylinders, but fortunately it's it's not a stressful job, is it? You can just sit and enjoy the view, which is the Zen garden. Well, that's another good sign the garden's doing well. We've got worms. One of the pieces of advice that Monty gave us, he was saying that people often get wormeries and buy in a load of worms and then chuck them on terrible soil, and then the worms die and they're surprised by that. Obviously the worms have got to have something to live on. Look at them, but look at the size of them. There's one over here now. big old worms. That's that's really good. The reason I'm so happy is because there are only ever 6 worms in this bit of the garden, because all this soil, there's 31 tons of soil, was all brought in worm free, and I had 6 worms which I got from the side garden, because the side garden soil hasn't been replaced, it's just been added to. 6 worms. Put them, you know, in kind of pairs, breeding pairs out here, and then yeah, they seem to like what they've found, which is good. I mean, it just helps everything. So that's a good sign. It's getting brighter, which is good for a bank holiday. That's it for now. I've done about 2/3 of the garden, but I'm going to leave this side for now because it's still quite wet. I was forking it over, you can feel it in the soil. This gets bone dry and this is quite wet, so I'm going to wait for that to dry out and then I'm going to dig some goodness in. I think that's it for now. I am going to lie down, wait for my headache to clear and just enjoy this. So thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.